Oop, turn that one off. Straighten you out a little bit. Hi, I'm back. I I should have been on yesterday, because yesterday for dinner I just started grabbing stuff and threw a thing together, and it would have been perfect. Um, Pictures in my Discord. It was a little bit of a mess, but that would have been part of the fun, I think. Um, Other than that, I never found time to do a reschedule of Monday, which I skipped because was going to do it on Tuesday, but then Tuesday my internet was just having a fit, um, which is something beyond my control. Um, so then yeah, it just kind of tumbled through. Yesterday would have been the other day, and I made a thing. Oh well. Today I have just a bunch of ingredients, and a bunch of ingredients kind of all point in one direction. So that's what we're making. And let me slide you guys over here, and I will start showing you my ingredients. Number one, meat. A modest quantity of discounted meat. Pepper, ginger, garlic, onion, broth, which I just it still smells fine. Occurred to me that it might be old. Um, ooh, we might have to take a peek at that one. Of course, I only planned this a minute ago, so I actually have very few noodles. Um, we could use these noodles. They're not ramen noodles, but they could give us a noodly thing to work with. Now, I'm torn because one of the things that I got, and it's hitting here in the room, is a large quantity of pretty nice bell peppers. I say pretty nice because they're not perfectly nice. They're just pretty nice. Um, this one could use a quick rinse, I think. So I was thinking stuffed peppers could be an option because how else are you going to use up a bunch of large peppers really quickly? It was one of those dollar bags. This one with peppers, so I ended up with a lot of pepper. Here, I'll just go get all the peppers, and then they can all be here, and you can look at them and be like, "Wow, that's a lot of peppers." Because it's quite a few peppers, and they're not all in 100% good condition, but they are all most of the way there. And a couple of them are perfectly shaped for like stuffing. Not that one. That one wants to fall over. Unfortunately, I did have to discard some of my previous bag of goodies because I didn't get to it because there's quite a bit more than you typically can go through. So the question is, do I want to make ramen stuffed pepper or the other options, ramen sloppy joe or ramen waffles with topping? Um, and I haven't really settled on the best option. And I haven't adjusted the camera over onto the stove. Get that fixed up. So I guess I'm gonna start by boiling some noodles because whichever direction I head with this, it has to have boiled noodles. Yeah, so we will I guess we'll have to continue sort of brainstorming. I know what flavors I'm going for. I'm just not sure what shape I'm going to make them. That's the question. I also noticed that there's some crumbs on my worktop there. So yeah, that's the plan. Um, and by plan, I mean that's the vague idea I've got. Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna do some kind of beefy thing. Now, I use packet ramen a lot as just a base for stuff. These guys, these little packets, because the noodles are pretty good, and they're incredibly cheap. For the fancier ones where they cost a little bit more and the flavors are nicer, I actually eat the whole thing. But for these really, really bargain ones, I don't use the flavor powders, but I don't throw them all away. So I've got a bunch of these saved up. And they're useful in places because they're very much similar to bouillon. So I was thinking we could take, because some of the ones I've got are beef. We could take some of these beef ramen packets and combine them with the actual beef to make like a beefed up beef. Beefy beef? Extra beef in your beef? And the noodles, if the noodles are getting stuffed in a pepper, they're going to be seasoned differently than if they are being waffleized versus if they're being sloppy Joe. I think we're going to scrap the sloppy Joe one. I think if we do that direction, it's either going to be that same sort of preparation, but as a waffle topping, or as a pepper stuffing. Honestly, the waffle is sounding more and more appealing the more I talk about it. And we haven't done any waffle experiments for a while. So that might be the winner. In which case I need one of these. Probably this one, because I think this one's going to go off the soonest because it's already got a spot that I'm going to have to cut off. Move a few things around the edges here. Yeah. Okay. So all peppers are all going to move. Okay. If we're doing waffleized, if we're doing a waffleized thing, okay. I guess I'm just gonna follow my nose. Jay, hi. Oh, good. Someone's here that I can bounce ideas off of. This is still not too late to change course. What do you think between waffles, stuffed peppers, and sandwiches for your ramen? Stuffed peppers only came up because I got a windfall of a bunch of these big peppers. But we can use peppers other ways. This one's going to go in with the meat regardless. Um, I was before you got here, I was kind of convincing myself to go towards waffles. I don't have big mushrooms that I could stuff. I actually don't have any fresh mushrooms. We can't do fresh mushrooms. Neat idea. Put a pin in it. Also, a mushroom is not a vegetable because a mushroom is not a plant. So I should do the pepper. Oh. Okay. I was not following. But okay. Stuffed pepper. Well, this one I'm cutting up is going to be cut up regardless. Sarah, hi. We're early enough in the stages here that we can still change plans. Eventually, we were going to hit a point of no return, but at the moment, we have plenty of return. Hi, Zara. Nope, that's the blemish. We're cutting that part away. I don't want to deal with it, and it looks kind of icky. Although it's not even visible. Oh yeah, it is visible on the inside. Okay. Well, what we're stuffing our peppers with is ramen. So I don't know if that changes your calculus. Selena! Hi. Ramen again. When's the last time I did ramen? Well, I've certainly never done it as normal as we're doing it today. Get those seeds out. Just scrape the whole thing. My water's boiling. I did instant ramen versus my versions. That was for April Fools. Because if you caught the beginning of that one, it was me just making instant ramen and pretending that it was difficult. Today I'm making non-instant ramen and hoping that it's not a mess. We did stuffed peppers once, ages ago. Can't remember what I stuffed them with. I didn't do standard like stuffed pepper stuffing then either, but that plan at that point was to make the stuffed peppers. Whereas today's plan is to turn ramen into something non-standard. Stop foaming. Stop foaming. Stop foaming. Okay, it stopped foaming because I forced it to stop foaming. Don't foam. Okay. Uh, what? Stuffed. Okay. Following. I don't think there's any way I could have followed that logic because it was all in your mind. But gotcha. The sausage and rice mixture is the classic, and I've had that. I'm not the hugest fan of the sausage and rice mixture, honestly. I like the idea of a stuffed pepper a lot more than the execution, because that standard sausage and rice mixture filling is underwhelming to me. If we do stuffed pepper, there's going to be a lag time when we roast them as well, which means I can play around with my blue milk. If you didn't see in Discord, I bought some blue milk because it was 65 cents on clearance sale, which isn't a great sign that it's any good. I need a bigger knife to do what I'm doing. Oh, so how's everyone been? We had a bit of a week off on account of the universe conspiring on me. And now it's hot. Oh, it wasn't hot last time we were here. Cracked 80 today, and I'm not here for it. If you missed what I did to make the noodle stop foaming, I just put a little bit of oil in the water. People think you're supposed to do that to prevent the noodles from sticking, and that doesn't work. If you oil the noodles after you take them out, it'll help them stop from sticking. But the oil floats and doesn't really get on the noodles when it's in the pot there. But what it does is it breaks up the surface tension of the water, so the starches that you are dissolving by boiling your noodles can't form those big bubbles, thus it breaks up the foam. It's a little bit of a waste of oil, because you can usually achieve the same result by just turning the temperature down a little bit. Like, mine only foams up when I'm full blasting it, typically. That's a bit more pepper than I was expecting. I will say that. Let's test these noodles, because they've been boiling long enough that I don't want to overshoot them. And they're looking a little lumpy. They should be slightly under, but I think we've already missed that. They actually have just a tiny bit of chew left to them, which is good. It means I haven't completely overdone them, but I got to get them out of that water. They can't rest in there, or they will go to just clatter, to just mush. So pour them off real quick. Minor stickage. minor stickage. I suppose that's why they made those non-stick saucepans that I was deriding the other day. But that can... Okay, we'll let those cool off a little bit. Let those cool off a little bit. Slide over here. We're gonna need an onion. We don't need a onion, which is good because I don't have any big onions left. I only have the small onions. The smunions. Should have got onions today. Didn't realize I was quite so low on onions. I put them in literally everything I make. Literally. Breakfast cereal, slap an onion in there. Get a little bit sprouty in the middle too. So another reason to get more onions and use up the existing onions. They're getting a little bit sprouty. Everything gets sprouty. Even I've got them in a dark place because light will make your storage vegetables start to think that they should sprout. But since it starts to warm up, in the winter it's great because the drawer, the insulation in the kitchen is just a nightmare. The bottom drawer underneath the camera here, near as I can tell, isn't insulated to the outside. It's very strange. It gets very cold in that drawer, but not like fridge cold. Like, it gets very chilly in that drawer in the winter in a bizarre way. I shudder to think what the back of it looks like, back of the cabinets look like. But in the summer, it means that it's not cold in there anymore. And things kind of wake up. I keep my onions down there because it's dark and chilly most of the year. It's not like it gets hot in the summer. It's even cooler than the room right now. It just stops being cool. Okay. A pepper and an onion. Jay put his foot down and demanded that I make a stuffed pepper. Can I? The trouble is I kind of just want to make one if I can get away with it, but I need something that will hold one and can be baked. Because I have a bad habit. Bookwoman pointed this out the other day. I have a bad habit of making enormous feasts for just myself. This would fit three normal-sized ones or two giant ones. This would fit a nice, perfect little stoplight of peppers. But then you never get them out of there. bread tray. This would require me to use the big ones. I have so many peppers right now. I showed them off at the start. Plus the one I just diced up. I got them for $1 because they were on clearance, and I'm not sure what's wrong with them. Other than they're a little bit old. They got like a few little bumps and bruises on them. But that's it. So we're going to use up peppers. They're perfectly fine. And this wasn't even all of them. There was bags of them. I grabbed one of the $1 bags of peppers, but there was like heaps of these things. The one I cut here was the worst looking one with that sort of brown spot on one side, and I just, cut that off, and it was good. But I need like what do you think? Sure, at regular price, I too would be picking through and finding the ones that were just like super nice. But come on. Some of these, like this one in my hand right now, there is nothing wrong with this one. It has maybe a teensy little wrinkle right here, but it's not even soft. It's just firm. I know the tricolor looks so good, but I'm trying to figure out how to do just one. Or possibly just two. I would eat it. I'd probably eat too much of it today. Part of the thing is I eat too much, and I need this thing we're doing right here causes me to eat too much, and I need to rein it in a little bit. I'm getting a little bit of a tummy that I'd rather avoid. I don't know how thin entertainment chefs do it. I have more noodles than I need, so we could actually like make a little nest of noodles around the bottom. I think the mini spring form here is going to be our best bet because this is an oven plate. I can put a little nest of noodles around the bottom to hold this thing in place and soak up any drips. And then I can bake just that. And yeah, they should crisp up a little bit. I'll have to grease this to make sure that nothing sticks. I think that's our best bet. And then I'll have a little bit of extra, probably still have a little bit of extra noodles. And then I'll have a little bit of extra of my mix here. Yeah, I think that's the route we're going. So we should start frying up stuff. Which pan am I going to use? We are going to use this one. The nest noodles, yeah, the nest noodles should take on either a chewy or a crispy character, and the ones inside should stay sort of soft and squidgy. We're going to use this one in hopes that we develop some fond that I can then deglaze and sort of turn into a makeshift sauce, a makeshift glaze, so to speak. But I'm starting with the vegetables, not the meat, which I know is not the proper way to do, but I want to really cook the vegetables down this time. I want these guys to be cooked down. So I'm not worried about overcooking them because I intend to overcook them. I wouldn't do it this way if I was doing it with like chicken, because I want to make sure that I had the chicken meat in contact with the pan enough to fully cook it, but we're using beef. And beef is much more forgiving in that way, so. And we are not putting salt on it because we're going to use these flavor dusts that I've saved over the millennia. And they're very salty. We're going to open one now because I'm going to have the salt in it help sweat out our vegetables a little bit. There's a ton in these things. Use half of one of those. Isosceles, hi. Those noodles are going to turn into a block if I don't do something with them post-haste. Fortunately, there's the perfect thing to do with them, and that is season them. So, while my vegetables are warming up, let's slide over here. See if these guys are a brick yet. They are super a brick. Noodles be sticking. Ah, oh, they're still hot. I was hoping they'd cool off a little bit more than that. Okay, should have oiled them right away. But we can still work them. Thankfully they've dried out, so they're not like going to turn to mush on me. But we need a little bit of lubrication in there. And I'm going to hit them with both sesame oil and some rice vinegar initially to loosen them up. And then we can think about flavoring them, because I think they'll be flavored on their own. The ones that are on the outside probably shouldn't have a bunch of extra flavor. The ones on the inside should probably have extra flavor, so. Ooh, I should have done that right away. Wow, and they're still freaking hot. How is that? How can they have cooled off so much? Ow, that they're. How could they have cooled off so much that they're gluing together, but are still so hot that they burn my fingies? Oh, ow. Oh, they smell really, really good now. They smell like sesame oil and vinegar. Oop. They tied themselves into some knots in there too. Okay. Okay, hopefully that's enough oil that they do not stick right back together. Oh, even just a dash of those things makes them smell so good. Wash my hands real quick because they got real greasy. The noodles are still also nicely sort of springy and stretchy. They weren't falling apart, so I definitely didn't overcook them, which is good. I have a bad habit of overcooking noodles just because they cook faster than I'm expecting. Even after all this time, they cook faster than I'm expecting and they get away from me. Okay. This bit is getting cooked down before we move on anything else. Although I'm going to want ginger and garlic in here as well. So I should get those minced up. Patsy! Hi! Welcome, welcome. Sizzling greens indeed. We have sizzling bell pepper and onion. And a dash of please tear along this line beef flavor made in USA. And also some noodles. Oops, no, I wanted it to be here. Here. We are going to add about that much ginger and an equal-sized piece of garlic. Good thing I got more garlic. I should use the slightly older one first. My little garlic house is empty. That looks like just about the same size piece of garlic as that piece of ginger. So let's triple what I initially said, because that's how you do garlic. You work out how much garlic you need and then you triple it. Peeled 1, peeled 2, peeled 3, 3 peeled garlics. If we get a chance, I got some toys. I put them in the Discord, but I'll show them off here too. I got some new toys that are not going to come into play today, so I'll have to awkwardly show them off. Stir around my vegetables a little bit. They're getting pretty down there, but I want more down with them, so. There should be a chance for me to show some stuff off. One of them is right over in the corner, so I could just grab it and wave it around for you. They're all thrift items. I was thrifting again. One of them is extremely impressive, and I'm surprised I even found it there. I'm going to call you 814. Hi. I'm sure I've called you something before. You're not new. But I can't remember what I called you last time. Sir Numbers. Lady Numbers, maybe? Hello. Hello. Oh. As usual, Saizen with the moisten. perfectly timed. Okay, I can do that. I can do that. I definitely have a glass handy that I can. Nope, not even a glass this time. Bam, jug. Ah, moist. Hi. Did I peek the mic doing that? I wasn't looking. I might have peeked the mic doing that growl. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Do the ginger. I think that stuff is getting to the point where I want to add other things to it. We're back to the old don't bother peeling your ginger days. Because don't bother peeling your ginger. Unless your ginger is dirty, which is the real reason that root vegetables get peeled. It's because they were traditionally very dirty. You don't need to peel these things. Just eat the damn peels. Peels are usually where all the nutrition is as well. Just like fruit skins. I think my peppers and onions are starting to burn because they have suddenly changed their tune over there. So let me really quickly. Oh yeah, I can see crispy edges. If only I hadn't been moistened. That's fine. I was hoping for some fond, like I mentioned at the beginning. The onions, we're gonna have to deglaze it. I think we can afford to do that after we put the beef in, though. Which should be the next step. Some freshly discounted beef. Wash my hands since I just handled some raw meat. And probably switch spatula to the wooden so that I can break up the beef properly. Keep you handy. Oh. No, it's fine. No, it's fine. I was intentionally overcooking the onions and peppers to develop fond in the pan. And so that they would be no texture to them when they get down to the finished thing. Okay, that's probably a good time to throw in the other half of our delicious, please tear along this line, beef flavor made in USA. God, even just the moisture from the beef was enough to deglaze the pan. This is a really nice pan, by the way. This is one of the pans I thrifted. And I don't normally talk much about the brands because I don't really think that brand loyalty is a huge thing. This is an Emerald Lagasse brand pan, and it is one of the nicest pans I have ever used. And it's so basic, too. It's just a steel skillet, but it's perfectly shaped. It's perfectly formed. You can do tossy stuff with it. The sloped sides means you can kind of push things up out of the direct heat, but it's still flat on the bottom, so it works on any burner. And it's incredibly smooth on the bottom. I have absolutely no idea how much it costs, but damn, Emerald, or should I say BAM, because Emerald. So, not a sponsor. Emerald Lagasse. God, can you imagine if Emerald sponsored me? That'd be great. Okay, we're gonna let that cook on its own bad self for a little while. Slide back over. Scrape down my grater, especially that part, the backside, where everything gets accumulated. Don't forget to do your garlic well enough in advance that it has a chance to develop a little bit of flavor. It can be as little as a minute. Just don't, mash it directly into the heat. Give it at least like a minute to develop those flavors. What other flavors? Speaking of flavors, what other flavors are we putting in here? We've got beef ramen packet. We're going to throw in ginger and garlic. There's going to be scallions that go in toward the end. Bell pepper and regular onion. This does a lot of the heavy lifting. These little packets, they're not good, so they don't make a good soup, but they're just kind of concentrated umami flavor, which is great for adding into something. Let's assemble the little trio of our tasty powders. Although we don't need a ton of that third one because we have a lot of other sources. Garlic powder, onion powder, MSG. The trio. The three amigos. It's going to be some sesame oil, but I think we want more sesame oil and a. Ooh, do I want it? I think I want it. I know. Not a dash of soy. We're going to use a dash of Maggi seasoning. Improves the taste of soups, salads, soup sauces, salads, vegetable dishes. A few dashes are sufficient. I'm going to give a few dashes right now, actually. That way we're not adding a huge quantity of extra salt like we get from soy sauce, but we get a bunch of that sort of concentrated flavor. We're just flavor bombing this this meat is what we're doing. We should probably add a little bit of. Ooh, it smells so good. It smells. If you've never had that stuff, that I just added, the Maggi seasoning, it doesn't really have a proper name because it's just called seasoning, and the brand is Maggi, so it's Maggi seasoning. It is, it's a very much its own thing. It's a savory concentrate in the same vein as like fish sauce or soy sauce or any of those flavorful liquids that you would add to savory dishes. But the flavor profile that it provides is really different. And the only thing that I think commonly I've encountered that tastes like that is incredibly cheap, crappy soy sauce that uses hydrolyzed proteins instead of aged proteins. Because that's literally what the stuff is. It's hydrolyzed wheat proteins. But since they're not like trying to pretend it's something else and just letting it be its own thing, it's pretty good. Let's add our garlic and ginger because my beef is looking pretty well all browned. Let's add my flavor powders. Let's think about this jalapeno. There's nothing spicy in there at the moment. I don't want to take this too far away from where we are. Maybe I won't add spicy. Ramens aren't typically spicy. That's more like Korean noodles. I would add sugar or molasses to this, but that again, I think that would be very, very tasty, but I think it would take us away from being like ramen themed. Although beef ramen is also not the most common thing. Obviously, it's a flavor option in the instant ones. There's a lot more of this than I thought there was going to be. I guess I'll have extra. I guess I'll have to throw away some extra. There's no way to use this up once I'm done. Oh well, such a waste. Should we add? Oh, I know what we'll add. I feel like it should be a little bit darker, and the easiest way. Your lighting is a little bit weird. It's much brighter. For some reason, the lighting on the stove is strange today. Probably because when I turned the camera on, there was a cast iron pan there, and it registered the big black circle and has the lighting thrown off. I'm gonna add a little bit of black soy. Since we didn't add any standard soy, black soy is a sweet soy. And I'm not worried about stuff sticking on the bottom right now because we are going to deglaze this pan. I'm a little worried about stuff sticking on the sides, so we've got to scrape the sides down because the deglazing won't really reach very far up the sides. Okay. Where's my sake? It's in the back row of the door. We're going to use a little bit of sake to deglaze today because it's not going to add much of anything that I wouldn't want in there. It's going to give us that sort of, it's going to lighten things up a little bit. And sake is in some ramens, so we're not escaping entirely. Fond is one of the things that it is good to learn about, how to manage it, how to use it, etc. Because it makes things taste better, and it makes cooking in a pan that's not nonstick less scary. Maybe a little bit more. Because stuff is literally sticking, but that's fine. It's part of the intentional process. And knowing that can be very useful if you're not accustomed to cooking in a traditional pan like this that sticks. I feel like overuse of nonstick has dulled some of the old, just like standard cooking practices. Okay, we're gonna let that chill out a little bit. We're gonna have to preheat the oven. Do we have to preheat the oven? This guy is small enough to fit in my magic pot. Does my magic pot have a bake option? It does. It has a roast. We could, and it would be better for me not heating everything up a ton, use the magic pot as a little tiny oven. I'm going to put the waffle iron away. I had the waffle iron out just in case, but we didn't use it, so it's going away. The magic pot, I've never done a just straight up bake in the magic pot, so it'll be a somewhat of a new attempt at it. Comes with a lifter. The one thing should fit in there. How tall is it? I gotta do all these tests before we commit. Because if the pepper will touch the coil on the top, I think it'll just work. Once I take the top off the pepper, I think it'll just work. Fascinating. Okay. Ooh. I'm not sure what I just ate, but it was really good. There was a drip of something on the side of the noodle bowl, and I just kind of went swoop and licked my finger, and it was really good. So I guess I'm on the right track. Something tastes really good. I know. Revelation. Usually my food is just crap, but I think we've managed it this time. Okay. The meat part, the noodle part. If I was going to make like a bowl of ramen, I'd want one of those eggs in it, which means I'd have to boil eggs now. We could potentially try to put an egg on top. Like a fresh egg on top? Pickled stuff. I feel like we can decorate around the bottom of the pepper with sort of fresher toppings. Because we're going to get that little nest that hopefully will hold together. We have to grease this. Nope. Of course, this was also has a non-stick coating, so the grease is trying to retreat from parts of it, but there's no way its own non-stick coating would be strong enough to withstand that. And the noodles are lightly oiled. Hoping all this means that the noodles will actually release. The scariest thing about this is getting those noodles to release from the bottom. Okay. Take our pepper. Oop, take the sticker off. Take our pepper, top it. Throw away the sticker. We don't need the sticker. Gently cut the ribs. I should say this the way Senshi says it. Take the pepper, gently cut out the ribs. Season with the monster's own entrails. There, and we even got a nice little hat to work with. Get the God, there's not even anything wrong on the inside. Why was this pepper in the bargain thing? I actually theorized as to why they were putting perfectly good vegetables in the bargain thing, and it's that it's not that the ones they have are bad. It's that a bunch of new ones have just come in, and they're putting the new ones out on the shelf, and they're just taking the ones that are already there and bagging them up to move. Because otherwise the new ones are going to sit in the back waiting for room to open up, and they're going to pre-age. So it just makes more sense to get the freshest ones out on the floor ready to go. Whoa, I don't know how to pronounce that. Hello. If whiff 1212. If whiff 1212. Oh, and you're first. You are the first person to arrive. No one was here before you got here. Amazing. Sometimes it takes forever for somebody to show up. Oh, and a moisten. that one I've got. Moist. I've thought about making that an actual like audio command so that when it gets redeemed, it just says it. But then I couldn't say it different every time. We're going to try to get these noodles, which are not badly stuck together. They're starting to stick a little bit, around the outer edges here. Like so. And then I'm gonna tuck some more in just to complete our nest. Don't forget, this is our nest of perfectly normal, no strange things happening at all ramen that we're making. I want to be very clear about what we're making here. There'll be plenty of noodles. I know I made more noodles than I needed for this. I wanted... Every time I look something up, it's really tasty, so we're on the right track. I need to wash my hands again because they're oily. Yeah, I want the noodles around the outside to be relatively unseasoned, which we have done. We could put an egg. Oh. What if we put just a little bit of egg in the noodle around the outer edge there so that it firms up and forms a more stable nest? We have time to think about that, but that is definitely a possibility. The remaining noodle we're going to flavor. Bring it over here. We're going to add some more flavors to it. Ooh, that's what's missing from the beef is some fresh pepper. Oh God, you know, I said about onions going in everything. Black pepper, that's the thing that actually goes in everything. I can't remember the last time I didn't reach for the black pepper, even in sweets. Just a little bit. Probably go too hard with that stuff. I use a lot too. It's a very, very nice flavor, and it goes with lots of things. And even in just like tiny pinch of it acts like a flavor enhancer and makes other things taste better, even if you can't taste it itself. Well, you can see it. Miso. Slightly off the side of the screen here, but we're adding some miso to that. Really going for the old everything savory Go, go, go. Mmm. That's pretty good, Jay. Not gonna lie. I've done similar, but with, hear me out, with mayonnaise. Mmm. I think we need 2 right off the bat. And I just want the green parts, so I'm going to save these. These guys, if you've never done this, you cut off, and I've done it with about half that much as well, but you save these guys, as long as they've got the roots on them, you can plant these and they'll grow new tops. I like to put them in a little bit of water just to see if they'll take. And as soon as the little green leaf starts to poke up through the middle, you can just put them in dirt and they'll make more onions for you. And then you just cut off the tops when you need more onions. This knife is slightly dull. Not real bad, but I can feel it sort of crunching in these onions a little bit more than it should. Take off the little dry bits. And you get the benefit of not having the little dry bits, because the little dry bits form on the ends when the tips are cut. But the new leaves will have come to a point and they'll be enclosed, so they won't dry out. You won't have those dry tips. They'll end up, eventually they'll dry out because the plant will make, produce new leaves, and then they'll dry out. But they won't like shrivel up the way these do. They just kind of turn yellow and droop over. I almost think that I need 2 more. We're going to use a lot of scallion today, because I just looked over at the beef, and the beef needs approximately that much scallion mixed into it. So we're just going to do 2 more right away. Exactly the same thing. Yeah, this knife's already dirty. I'm going to grab a sharper knife so I could go a little bit faster. If your knife is dull and you can't immediately sharpen it, pretty much the only option is to slow down and be careful, because a dull knife can slip and really hurt you. This one I should have polished up with the honing rod before I started, and it probably also needs a once over with the actual sharpener. Okay, then that part is going in here. We might just have a little bowl of noodles on the side as a treat. But I want scallions in all the things. And now I'm not mixing the beef into this. We're doing sort of a layered thing. That's why I've not mixed them together. Get that in there. I know normally you mix the rice and the pork sausage together and you stuff that into your pepper. But I like the idea of having the noodles more underneath and the the meat s'more at the top. Especially since we have noodles on the outside now. Having noodles all the way through the interior is not exactly what I want. But we're gonna have extra noodles. And extra beef. And extra time. Wow, extra everything today. I'm gonna lick my hand and then wash it. Mmm. Mmm. Very tasty. It's actually kind of subtle, despite all the stuff I just put into it, which is nice. Because I think the beef is going to be much stronger. I think we're going to skip the idea of trying to put egg in the noodles around the bottom. I think that's going to be too complicated. We're just going to soldier forth with making the thing. We're going to put the sake away. I don't want that on the stove. Boy, if this is going to be an experiment with this thing if it bakes. If this works, which I can't see why it wouldn't, but we'll see. If this works, that'd be nice for the summer, not having to fire up the whole oven to bake small things. Just because it's hot. I mean, also for energy reasons, but mostly because it's hot to fire up the whole oven. Where did I put those chopsticks? And we're packing it in. We don't want airspace at the bottom. You know, before I do that, layering. Plus, it gives me a little bit of purchase to press down. Okay, I made. Well, there's no really way to make less than a full thing of beef because once the package is opened, you just have to use the whole thing. But we have way more beef than we needed, which is a real shame. Because now I'm going to throw all this away and completely waste it. We could have done the colors. We could have done the colors. Oh well. The colors, the stoplight, would not have fit in the magic pot. Wee Former, hi. Well, you are in time to see the thing that I've assembled, but we haven't cooked it yet. This is a stuffed pepper in a nest of noodles, stuffed with noodles, these noodles, and this beef mixture, which is beef, onions, peppers, different kind of onions, garlic, another different kind of onions, pepper, ginger, stuff. We have extra of that. We have extra of the noodles. I'm trying to make just one of these. Ultimately, we could have done the stoplight. We have enough filling that we could have done the stoplight, but it's definitely too late now. Remember that point of no return I mentioned earlier? That was about 45 minutes ago. We're gonna attempt to cook this thing in my little magic pot. Oh, I can use the beef in something else. I was entirely making a joke about throwing it away. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take my. You're not gonna be able to see this. You're gonna have to wait and see this part. We're sesame seeding some things. We will hold on to the black sesame seeds for afterward. Yeah, I'm not gonna throw that. It'll just be leftovers. In fact, I'll probably eat it with these noodles, and then I'll do a third thing. We could do since that's a pretty tasty thing, and it is just sort of a leftover ingredient. We could do a surprise. What do I do with my leftovers day? Okay, the magic pot in roast mode. Let's grab the instruction book because I've never used the roast mode, so I'm gonna just double check that I don't need to preheat it or something. There are some baked things in here, and I want to see what it. That's the steaming mode. There's no instructions for the baking mode. The dehydrator mode. Notes. Pressure cook mode. Tender crisp mode. Steaming mode. Buns. Oh, that's probably something that you bake. Bake 20 minutes. Just says bake 20 minutes. Does it have me preheat it? Kinda. It has it run it in a steam mode first, and then a bake mode. The magic pot. Here's the instructions. It's a Ninja Foodie pressure cooker steam fryer system with smart lid, which is way too much to say. It doesn't have a snappy name like the Instant Pot. And I can't just call it the Ninja, because that's a whole brand of things. And I personally have other Ninja devices. So I tend to call this one just the Magic Pot, because it's a multi-pot, but it's the Ninja brand one. Hello! I'm going to put it in for 20 minutes on roast and see what it do. We can always stop it. It's not one of the locked lid modes, so I can always stop it and peek at it whenever. So yeah, that's that. I managed to get away with not a huge mess today, which is good as well. Yeah, the name is, they needed to come up with a name for it. Because even I can't even call it the Ninja Foodie, because the Ninja Foodie is a line of products as well. It's a strange marketing decision. It's a very nice piece of kit. I'm also curious to see how this is going to work out. We are in the same boat. We have some minutes while that thing roasts. I was going to show off a few of my thrifty finds. So let's come up here. Number one, it's right over here because I just washed it. It's marketed by this brand, Bialetti, as a pizza cutter. You go. But what this is, their marketing is that I think because Americans don't know what a mezzaluna is. This is a mezzaluna. It just doesn't have the handles. A mezzaluna is this exact thing, but it has two vertical handles on the sides, and it's sharp. It's like an actual knife edge. This one's like more like a bench scraper. So it's sharp, but it's not sharp. Mezzalunas are really cool because you can dice the shit out of things with them really, really fast. They're good for also like slicing noodles. We'll play with this thing eventually. I just got it today. It was $4. And there's nothing wrong with it. Like, I can't even see what... I imagine this was just dropped off at the thrift store because they weren't using it. Because there's not even a... There's fingerprints all over it now because I've been handling it. But there's not even the hint of a blemish. There's not a single notch in the edge of it. I don't know if it was even used. So I just watched that, just picked that up today. That one is pretty cool. That was a good find. The next one, which is over here, because it's big and I don't know where to put it yet because it's so big, is an even nicer find. Oh. This is a monstrous pan. Let's slide over to the stove. This is a monstrous pan. For example, my previous largest pan was this one. This one came with a secret. First of all, also thrifted. Got this one for $8. Has a lid. It came with a steamer plate. It came with a steamer plate that like fits. Crazy, crazy things. And it's nonstick, and it's not all scratched to hell. Usually nonstick stuff at the thrift stores is scratched to hell. It is the worst nonstick you've ever seen. And people just dump it at the thrift store because they don't want to use it anymore. This thing, it has one little nick in it. It has one little nick right here that I can just barely catch with my fingernail. So I'll keep an eye on that. But other than that one little tiny scratch that you can't even see it. You can't even see it, but this thing is amazing. I couldn't pass this one up. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but it came with a steamer plate. It has a fitted lid. It's in gorgeous condition. Yeah, I couldn't... There was a little bit of like discoloration on the bottom when I got it, and I washed it. And after I washed it, I could see a little tiny like hairline scratch. So the previous owner had used it and managed to somehow burn something onto the nonstick. Don't know what they were doing, but it cleaned off. You might have been able to see just a hint of some discoloration, which should loosen up over time as I wash it more. It's nothing to do with this. It doesn't line up with the feet on the plate there at all. My previous largest pan, here's my previous largest pan, fits neatly inside of it. It's such a huge pan. Yeah, it was a heck of a find. I don't know where to put it. It's so big that I don't know where to put it. It's kind of hanging out for the time being. But yeah, like it's a 5-quart pan. You could empty a gallon of milk into that and have room to spare. Crazy find. Oh. So it lives in here for now because I have no idea where to put it. Because it's enormous. The steamer, I was really surprised. I thought it was just going to be a decent pan. When I saw it, it had the lid on it. I was like, it looks in pretty good shape. I'll peek at it, see what it's like. Because every once in a while you find a nonstick that's not beat to hell. And it's better to get one there than to buy one new, because we should take care of your nonstick and don't replace it all the time, because manufacturing it is real nasty. So when I opened it up and it had that steamer plate in there, I was just like, wow. So yeah, that was the big find. And the third item, I found 3 items. If you remember, I got this not very long ago. An old beaten up ricer, because I had been looking for a ricer for so long, and new ones are really expensive. Well, not really expensive, but they're like more than I want to pay for a very niche tool. And most of the ones that I see at thrift stores are in really bad shape. This one is obviously old, but everything works. The thing fits. It's not bent to hell. I can get the little basket out to wash it. Everything sort of fits together. It was like, finally, I got one that's half decent. I'll grab it. I can't remember how much this was. It wasn't very much. Well, now that I got this one, a good one showed up. So it's the same device I have, but brand spanking shiny new. And also, it's a lot sturdier of a build. This one when I squeeze it, it has a flex to the handles. This one, the plate goes right to the bottom. So it's less amazing than that giant pan, but I'm very pleased with that one. And it was also not too much. So even though I just got this guy, he might be getting retired already. I'll take him back to the same thrift store, and they can sell him to someone else. And those are my recent discoveries. The pan is obviously the big winner. And I was just blown away by how nice it was. Because I'm sure if any of you have been, like, gone to thrift stores and looked for stuff, you've seen how they treat the nonstick pans. All of my stainless stuff has come from there, because people will drop off perfectly good stainless because it's got spots on it, but the nonstick stuff is usually beat to hell, and that one was not. So, and that's my story. And that story took 10 minutes. So, what else have we got? I know what else we've got. I wanted to taste this, but also it was incredibly cheap. So initially, and I've hidden this away. Initially, this was on sale for $3, $4. It was It was a markup over the base price. And I guess it didn't sell because 2 things happened. it got put back on the shelf with a little coupon sticker on it, and also got marked down to 99 cents. So between the coupon and the 99 cents, I paid 65 cents for Star Wars Blue Milk. I think they were expecting this stuff to be like sell, and it didn't. We're gonna give it a try, and I could make it maybe dessert. But I wanted to try this stuff. Before I do, I'm gonna peek at my pepper. Ooh, that's mildly concerning. I think we're getting our heat blasted from the top a little too much. So stop, because it's looking a little toasty on the top, top. I don't want to completely burn out the bottom. Is that even going to work? I should take its temperature on the inside. It's a little bit toasty on the top. I think it's getting most of its heat for the bake from the top coil, which is only like that far away from the food. So I think we're getting a little bit of a broil going on. Now everything in there was cooked, so it's not like it's going to be raw, but I don't want the top of the thing to burn. Tell you what, we'll just turn it off. I'll bring it over here and we can look at it together. Because it comes in this thing that I can lift out. So there it is. So we have blistering on the pepper, which is nice. We have some blistering around the top of the pepper and some blackening, browning, dark deepening browning on the top. The issue is the blistering on the pepper pretty much stops at the edge of the pan here. I don't think we're getting a lot of heat penetrating into it. The noodles are looking a little bit dried out on the surface. Ooh, actually, yes. And it's not too late to do that. Some foil over the top of it as a shield so that it doesn't get direct blasted. And then we can put it back in. Because the issue is it's pretty much just looking straight up at the coil, which in the pot there is at the top. I don't want to wrap it, I want to kind of tent it. Because it wants the heat, it just doesn't want to literally be looking directly at that, that coil. Good shout, Jay. You get a cookie. Oop. You get no cookie because it slid. That is hot. Oh, come on. Oh. Okay. You're back to getting a cookie. Oh, Christ's sake, it wants to slide off center really, really badly. Ow, ow. And everything except the foil is very, very hot. Okay. I guess we just set it back to the same. I mean, okay. I just want. Their goal is the pepper needs to be like tenderized. I don't want the pepper to be crunchy at the bottom. So that's our concern there. Let's let that run a little bit longer. Let's taste this blue. First of all, you can tell when I tip it to the side. This is just opaque. We're not looking at the blue milk yet. We're going to find out together what this stuff actually looks like. We're going to shake it up first because it's flavored. It says that it's... Oh, God, the name of this thing. Star Wars, inspired by Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Blue Milk, pour the power of protein. That's the full title. Scan for trivia. Blue-colored vanilla low-fat milk with other natural flavors. Contains blue. Like, if they're going to write out those big crazy titles like that, and then just make one of the words big, you still read the whole title. Oh my God, it's blue. It's also like thick. Oh my God, it's actually that color blue, and it's like thick. It tastes like a watered down milkshake. Tastes like a watered down vanilla milkshake. Tastes like a melted Dairy Queen Frosty. So it's not bad. It's not intensely sweet, but it is definitely sweet. The second ingredient is sugar. And then, okay, here's why it's thick. First ingredient, low-fat milk. Second ingredient, sugar. Third ingredient, carrageenan gum. Fourth ingredient, guar gum. 2 gums to make this thing thicken up. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. I don't hate it. You could try making ice cream with it. I don't know that I would try making ice cream with it, but you could try making ice cream with it. I don't have a churn, so I'd have to do a no-churn ice cream, and a no-churn ice cream would not work with this because it is a low-fat milk. I don't think regular ice cream would either because, again, it is a low-fat milk. It's interesting. A custard could work. A blue custard? Low-fat milk custard. Baked egg custard. That's exactly what I was thinking. Temper the eggs. Bake. We can actually bake them in the magic pot. Oh, but they take a while. We also would not have to make the full recipe of 6 custards. We could make just a small miniature recipe. Flan. I've never made flan. Ever. Also, hi, Ryuya. Were you here already, or did you just arrive? Oh, you were here. Blue sausage gravy. Oh, I think it might be a little bit too sweet for sausage gravy. Um, somewhere in here, you can't see it. This is the cupboard of stuff. This is the cupboard of dishes, which is directly above the workspace. But if you turn 90 degrees and go above the camera space, these doors that I always open directly above you is the cupboard of stuff. All of my stuff lives here. Like my truffle oil, that was a waste of money. And my tiny jar of Szechuan peppers. Discount pine nuts. 1 ounce of French honey. Stuff. What I was going to say is I have somewhere in here a packet of instant flan. Here it is. Well, I don't know if it's instant, actually. It's in French. Everything's in French. Empty the contents of the caramel sauce into blah, blah, blah. Oh my god, we're not using this because this makes so much. I could do this, but it would be like for a party. I could do it with the blue milk and do it like for a party, but this would be like for a party. This makes 8 flans. It'd be cool, but we're not doing it right now. We'll keep that in mind. I'll leave that where I can see it. Also, because I've got most of a gallon of this stuff to use up now. I've sipped on about a cup of it. It is a big packet. I'm surprised, actually, because it's only this, it's a little cardboard box, but it calls for a quart of milk. Although, it doesn't require anything else. It does all the work for you. No need to add eggs. Contains no eggs, but also no need to add eggs. So it would be very easy to do it. That's going to beep at me in 2 minutes. Do we have time to do a second thing? We kind of have time to do a second thing. How's my battery life looking? Pretty good. I was keeping an eye on this thing after it freaked out and had the batteries fail. Yeah, the small pudding packets take 2 cups, and they still make quite a lot. That one's a big one, and it makes a quart. This one says we can do 2, and it just says ramekins. It doesn't say how big the ramekins are, but it makes 6, but it calls for 3 eggs, so I can just cut that down to 1 egg very easily and make a third of a recipe. And we wouldn't have to add the vanilla extract because this is already vanilla flavored. And we wouldn't have to add the sugar because this is already sugared. And I could add some blueberries. Vigorously teaching me how to temper eggs. It just says pour the custard into 6 ramekins, but it doesn't say how big they are. It makes 6 portions, but it doesn't say how big they are. 2.5 cups. So it's making really awkward amount. Well, I was gonna try a steamed custard from scratch rather than a flan. Um, there's the beep beep beep. I was gonna try a. Cause we can do. Ooh, what the heck? This it's smooth, but it's got like spotting. That's odd. What is that? I definitely washed this pan, and it's all smooth. Hmm. Odd. Okay. Do I soldier forth? I check on my pepper. First thing I do is I check on my pepper. Things in here are hot, hot, hot. Let's take its temperature. You aren't going to see this part because I'm going to leave it in there. Let's take its temperature in the middle. It's hot through to the middle. Not screaming hot, but it's hot. We have blistering on the pepper itself. I think the pepper is stuck to the noodle nest, which is a good sign if I want a decorative noodle nest. I feel like I'm going to not play with the blue milk. I've done the tasting. I don't think I'm in the mood to just bang out some custards. Digital thermometers are great. I have a couple different ones. I think I've talked about them before. The two I like the most are this guy, because he's hinged. So you can probe them in, or you can hold them like that and poke them in. And the one with the long wire on it, because you can put that end in your thing, run the wire out of the oven, and just watch it heat up on the inside. And then I have a third one, this guy, which is just straight, but the probe is a lot longer than that one, so you can really get up into things. You can see the probe is significantly longer. That guy's nice, but the probe being so short means it's hard to get in some things. The first one, this is my most used one. It's the one I reach for when I just want to check something's temperature. I do also have a manual one for like frying and stuff. No, these are great. Thermometers, having just knowing what temperature things are as you're working with it is a huge benefit in the kitchen. Once upon a time, and still people still rely on like the old, oh, you put a sprinkle water on it, or you do this and it does that if it's the right temperature. All that stuff was just because they couldn't take its temperature properly. A longer probe is nice. This guy is always just a little bit on the short side. I think that we should, because I'm coming in on 2 hours, so with plating and tasting, we're going to be pushing about 2.5, and that's dinner time. So I don't really want to go too much longer. What I really want someday is one of those laser ones. Those are super fancy. The pepper hat. The pepper hat. Isosceles remembered the pepper hat. I forgot the pepper hat. I guess the pepper hat's just going to be a hat on the on the thing. Suppose I could roast the hat. There's our thing. We're gonna unmold it over here. I feel like it needs a sauce. Just looking at it, just eyeballing it now. Eyeballing it now. Brulee the hat. Because otherwise the little hat just kind of clashes. I don't have an open flame on which I could like toast quickly toast the hat. I'm broiling the hat for just a moment. And we're going to see if this, we're going to let that cool off a smidgen more before I do that, so I don't burn my fingers. While that's cooling off a smidgen more, I want to make a little sauce. I feel like it's going to need first of all, something red. It's going to need some kind of a something. You know, a something. These. What are these? These are a pickled something. I can't remember what manner of creature this is. It's a sweet pickled root of something. Keep that handy. Sue. What's Sue? Ketchup. A little of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this. A little bit of sriracha would perk up whatever I end up with. I feel like I'm picturing. Oh, I did not set a timer on that. I did not set a timer. I just have to peek at that. It was just on full blasting. I need to refill my soy sauce. I don't want a ton of sauce. It just needs to be like a drizzle. Suyu. I'm unfamiliar and definitely don't have it. Yeah, I'm just kind of throwing stuff together that I think sounds like it would work. Tiny whisk, some little red flakies, some little green flakies. I need the scissors. I'm going to cut up a chive and throw it in that sauce. That's why I grow these things. Hey, we're outside. That never happens. There's the birds. You can hear them going kirk, 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 kirk. They're real mad at me. And we're back. And spend all this time growing these herbs. I should use them, right? How's our pepper? Aha! We're gonna stop that because our pepper is nicely blistered. Tiny whisk those together. It's definitely getting scolded. It's some grackles, and as soon as I went out, they sat on the wire above me and were just going. That stuff, knife, whisk. Knife, whisk. This foil is clean. Sauce, you're cool enough to touch. Keep the chopstick handy. Shuffle things around. Concerning plating, I want to be a little bit pretentious with this one. So hey, should have done that right in the center for you. Our noodle nest did not stick to our ring. That's a good first sign. And now we will gently remove. The noodle nest did not get very crunchy. Hope the noodle nest is unstable. Okay, well, it kind of worked. It held enough for me to transfer it. It held enough for a quick transfer, which I suppose is all I can ask. You know, I didn't taste that sauce before I threw it on there. It looked good. I hope it tastes good. Boy, that does not look the best from straight above, does it? It looks way better from the side. Because you can actually see the pepper. From your angle, it's just like a brown circle. From my angle, I can see all the green pepper. I'm adding a little bit of this because it's going to give us a little bit more of a color pop. Can't remember what this is. It's pickled sweet something. Gonna tuck a little bit of that on that side. The hat. So we could put the hat there. Well, that looks kind of corny. The hat is going to get on that side. The hat blistered up nicely. The hat gets propped to the side, so which means I can maybe put one more decorative item on the right. Do we have any pink ginger? We're used to, but I might have used. No, I got a little bit. Ooh, I've only got a little bit too. There we go. There we go. Ta-da! 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 So, I'm going to take a picture of this as is. We're going to bring it back. I'm going to cut into it We're going to see what the inside looks like, but then I'm going to try to take another picture of it with it cut open because I want to see the stuffed peppers don't look like much from the outside, so you know. But I've got a good angle on which side to take the picture from. The front. There's a clear front to this one. Sometimes my dishes don't have a clear front. Okay, coming back to you. Coming back to you. We need a knife. You know what? We're going to use the really sharp knife to ensure a clean cut. I don't use this knife very often. It is an extremely sharp serrated knife. Whoa, look at the inside of this thing. Well, I mean, that's literally what I made, but also, wow, look at it. I'm gonna take it back, take a quick picture, and then we're gonna dive in and taste the beast. There's more noodle than I thought. I thought there was a little bit more of the beef. I might even spoon some over. Oh, I should have taken more photos from the first angle just to have them because I can't put it back. Oh well. Still looks good in this angle. Well, I guess now we tuck in, see what we're working with. I bumped my head on the camera. Mmm. 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 The flavor is really good. I know just moments ago I said there's not as much beef inside as I was expecting. It doesn't need more. It's got a really strong, good beefy flavor going on in there. More and it would be overpowering. It wouldn't taste like anything else. So, good thing I put that many noodles in. I think we've lost the ramen, but only just. I think I seasoned my ground beef a little too Chinese, and we've pulled away from that ramen-y flavor. Not to say it's bad. It's very good. It's very, very tasty. I want to taste the bottom noodles as well with their sauce and potential chewiness. Mmm. Mmm. Oh, yeah. Mmm. Okay, I'm not sure how to fix it because of the way I did it, other than using a different vessel. But the chewy crunchiness that we were speculating about, Jay, is definitely there in maybe like the top half of the noodle nest. The bottom half of the noodle nest is still soft and noodly, which is no doubt why the thing didn't hold together when I scooped it out. I almost think that shouldn't use the you shouldn't use the ring. The ring is what screwed it up. The ring provided us with shape, but I feel like I should have just built a noodle nest on an open pan so that all the noodles could get the heat. I think having that little ring around there kept too much moisture hidden underneath the pepper and kept, yeah. I think if we just like done like a pie plate, built a little nest right in the middle and left that airspace around the outside, something wider that just would let some air circulation and then sit in a pan. Okay, next time we could do this a bunch more times. I have so many peppers. I have so many peppers. Put this milk away before it sweats all over the place. Honestly, I could do this again tomorrow. I have more of all of the ingredients. It tastes great. It's not quite exactly where it was going in my head, the flavor-wise. Structurally, it is, except for that the nest didn't really solidify. Having that little bit of a crunch in there is pretty good. Also, our pepper, while nice and tender up on the part where it blistered, is... Why did I put the knife over there? Notably, still quite crunchy at the bottom, which I was kind of expecting to happen since I didn't do a proper full roast. But that is why I wanted to make sure that the peppers that I put in the meat were super completely cooked, because I was pretty sure I wasn't going to be able to get the whole thing cooked to complete tenderness. Oh, since I got those chives, my neighbor came home. I was wondering what that sound was. Overall, I like the flavors a lot more than a standard stuffed pepper. Let's try it with this decorative stuff, because this stuff's not just decorative, you eat it. Well, I eat it. You don't eat it. Mmm. 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 That's a nice texture to go with it. It's got that sort of pickly crunch to it, and a sort of a sweet tang, because we didn't really sugar any of the rest of this stuff, so sweetness is what's missing overall. I think if you got a big mushroom and filled it with noodle and then topped it with something like this, you could make that work, but it'd have to be one of those like big mushroom caps. Or skip the noodle. I do like a stuffed big mushroom. I'll agree to that. I don't have any, so we couldn't do that. But I do like a stuffed big mushroom as well. And some pickled ginger. for some freshness, because this is missing freshness. Oh, I think our spicy drizzle at the end, or our saucy drizzle at the end, was a little spicier than I was shooting for, because there's definitely a spice biting me back as I get further into this. Which wasn't entirely what I was going for, so so yeah, I think that was a success. We'll have to come back and try waffles. You have no idea how close we were. Well, Jay does, because Jay was the one who said, stuff a pepper. If Jay hadn't said that, right now, we'd be having waffles instead. But I still would have made noodles and beef. Noodle beef waffles. And hey, you know what? I've still got noodles and I've still got beef. I could attempt noodle beef waffles as well. But I guess that is the 2.5 I predicted after tasting and plating. So I guess that's our end point, and we wrap. I'm not going to put this in my top 10. It's pretty good, but I can do better. I know I can. I keep leaning on the fridge. So let's see who's on. WeFormer's not on. Wow, there's very few people on right now. We're going to raid somebody that I've certainly never raided before, but I've viewed. We're going to go see Imperial Jedi, who's playing Project Zomboid. You should be sorry. Rah, 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 rah. No, take a break. Have a good time. So let's all go say hi. I know Jedi from Silver Dream connection, but probably from other. But this place is so like internetworked. I can never remember who led me to which thing. And then I'm going to eat this pepper, and I got away with not a lot of cleanup, which is always good. Sometimes we make such a mess, and I think we got away with it today. Anyways, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for all the things. I didn't see if anything was in my list. I will be back on Monday, unless things conspire against me again. And who knows? Maybe I'll throw in a bonus to make up for last time.